Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to study about Intermezzo coding style. Okay. Now that you're about to write longer, more complex pieces of Python, it is good time to talk about coding style, right? So that means overall till now we have covered multiple topics, right? About functions, about if-else, and also about briefly we have talked about all those things, right? So maybe you're ready enough now to write small programs or even big programs using functions and everything, right? So now it is a very crucial thing to understand that what are the different coding styles available and how you should write standard Python programs. For that, what coding style you should follow, right? So most languages can be written in different styles, right? Some are more readable than others, right? So coding styles, why we follow? Because if we follow one particular standard style, okay, then first of all it increases the readability, and then it remains uniform, right? Because if everyone is following the same style, you can understand others code, others can understand your code, right? So this is how what happens, that uniformity is maintained in the entire community. Okay. Now, making it easy for others to read your code is always a good idea, because you are not writing the Python programs and code just for yourself. Definitely, after some time, you will be showcasing your coding skills and all to others, right? By through your projects or through your programs and everything, right? So, in that case, others need to read your code, right? And for that purpose, you should follow a proper coding style. Okay, so and adopting a nice coding style helps tremendously for that, because maybe your program is completely correct, it is giving the right output and everything it is doing, but if your program looks very messy, then it gives a very bad impression on others, right? So that is why a good coding style also matters a lot. So that is why here we are going to study about a coding style and some of the points that what we all should follow, right? So for Python, you are having this pipette. You can go to this link and you can study everything in detail, right? So it has emerged as the style guide that most projects adhere to. Okay, so you can go to this link and see all the guides what has been mentioned, and mostly all the Python projects follow this particular style. Okay, it promotes a very readable and eye-pleasing coding style, right? So if you also follow, that means your codes will also become very readable and eye-pleasing, right? Now, every Python developer should read it at some point. Here are the most important points extracted for you, right? So, if you are a very extreme beginner, then it is okay. You can ignore it for some time, but as soon as you start writing programs in standard platforms, it is highly recommended that you go through the link and study the style guide and follow the same thing. Okay, and otherwise some of the most important points which you can just follow from now itself, those important points has been extracted here. So let us read them. So the very first point is use 4 space indentation and no tabs, right? So instead of tabs you can use what kind of indentation? 4 spaces, right? So this is something you can follow. So what is the reason? Reason is 4 spaces are a good compromise between small indentation, allows greater nesting depth and larger indentation, okay, which is easier to read. Tabs introduce confusion and are best left out. So this you can understand that by using tabs, confusions are created, okay, when very big complex programs you are writing. So in that case, maintaining a 4 space indentation is better. After that, wrap lines so that they don't exceed 79 characters. So in a particular line, okay, maximum you try to keep only 79 characters, and after that you wrap the code, right? And why it is important? Because everyone does not uses laptops and big screens, right? Mostly there are mobile users who uses phone, tabs and all small devices, small displays are also there, right? So that it is readable for everyone, we should follow this, that in a particular line maximum 79 characters are going to be there. Okay, after that use blank lines to separate functions and classes. So because function is a block, classes are also block, right? So how to separate them, that these two are different entities. For that purpose you can use blank lines. Okay, so by that it becomes very clearly visible, the separations are clearly visible, right? And larger blocks of code inside function. So inside function, again, if you're having large blocks of code, you can separate them by lines. Okay, now, when possible, put comments on a line of their own. So, wherever it is possible, wherever you're seeing that this particular statement is little complex and little requirement is there to explain that, we should always put comments there, right? After that, use doc strings. About doc strings, in the very previous lecture I have discussed, okay, in some other lectures also about doc string I have given introduction. So this doc string also is a good practice to follow whenever you are defining functions and all. Okay, after that, use spaces around operators and after commas, but not directly inside bracketing constructs. So if this is followed, you also please make a practice that you also give spaces around the operators. Okay, so as you can see here, a is equal to, right? So this equal to, this is assignment operator, right? So around this assignment operator, in both left and right side, one space has been added, right? Okay, here also and here also. And similarly, again plus, so this addition operator is there, again in the left and right side of the addition operator, space has been added, right? And also after comma, not before comma. So this also you follow, that after comma you have to add one space, similarly here as it has been done. Okay, but again, not directly inside bracketing construct, right? Like here one parenthesis is given, so after parenthesis immediately don't give a space, you write the element, and if comma is there, write the comma and then give a space, right? Similarly for closing also, in that case don't give any space. So these are some of the things which you should follow. Okay, after that, name your classes and functions consistently. What is the meaning? That whatever style you are choosing for classes, your every class name should follow that particular style. Again, functions also, if let us say 5 functions or 10 functions your program is having, then all the 10 functions should follow the same naming style. Okay, and what is the convention? Which naming style is followed the most? So for classes, upper camel case is used. What is the meaning of upper case? Is that whatever words are there, right, the separate words, the first letter of each word is capital and there is no space, right? So that capitals itself denote that these are different words. Okay, so this is called upper camel case and this is what is used for naming classes in Python. Okay, and what to use for function? So for function we use lowercase. In function everything is lowercase with underscores. So whatever words are there, how we separate the words? We separate the words using underscore and all the alphabets are going to be small letter. Okay, so this is what we follow for functions and methods. Okay, all right. And after that it is saying that always use self. Okay, self as the name, so you can go to that link and see. So self as the name for the first method argument. Okay, so if you're defining one method, in that method always the first argument should be self. Now what is the meaning of this and what is the purpose, we will study when we are going through classes. Okay, so not as of now, but if you're interested you can go and check it out. All right, after that what is there? Don't use fancy encodings in your code if your code is meant to be used in international environments. Okay, so just for making your code fancy, don't start using some different kind of some unique encodings and all, because maybe those encodings are not followed everywhere. Okay, and in that case your code will not be compatible with other platforms. So that is why Python's by default whatever encoding is there, that is UTF-8 or even plain ASCII you can use, because these are very common and used almost everywhere in every environment. So just for making your code little unique and different from others, don't start using any encoding which will not be okay, compatible with other environments. After that, the last point is, likewise, don't use non-ASCII characters in identifiers if there is only the slightest chance people speaking a different language will read or maintain the code. What is the meaning of this? That if let us say, because mostly now worldwide if you see everyone speaks English and all, right? So general whatever our characters are there, English letters are there, digits are there, just use these characters. Okay, if there is a very small chance that some people who knows completely a different language, maybe Spanish, French or something, they are going to see code, but that percentage is very less, maybe just 1%. Such people are there who are knowing completely a different language and following a different language. In that case, don't go with completely non ASCII characters, because just for that 1% people you are compromising with other 99% people, which is not a good choice, right? So that is why always use the general characters and general encodings which are followed worldwide. Okay, so these are some of the suggestions, some of the good practices which you should follow whenever you're writing any Python code, right? So this was about the coding style followed in Python, and here our unit 4 ends, and in the next lecture we are going to start with the next unit, which is 5, which is about data structures. Okay, so I'm ending this lecture here. Thank you.